Hey guys, Zeroed In Golf here. I'm sitting down with the Tennessee VGA State Director, Doug. I joined the VGA back in 2017. It was fairly new back then. Tennessee was definitely pretty new back then. I think there were only, I don't know, maybe 15 members or so?
Yep, I believe my first event was up in Tellico Village, and I think the very first event I played in, there were 7 members. Yeah.
Yeah. Over the course of the last few years, the VGA has had incredible growth. So really just wanted to sit down and talk about that growth and give you guys some insight into the VGA, the Veteran Golfers Association. And, you know, if you're looking for a community to join, if you're looking to get into golf or you already play golf, but you want to play with some folks, the VGA is an absolutely great way to do that. So we're going to give you guys some information and some facts. Doug, you want to give a little history about the VGA?
Yeah, sure. VGA started back in 2014. It was established by a member that was in the 82nd Airborne, Josh Payton, and he wanted to do something to help veterans that were wounded in battle and needed something to help get them through their everyday lives. And a lot of times when us in the military, we're very competitive, and when we retire from the military or we just get discharged from the military, we're looking for something to keep those competitive juices going. And this is an opportunity to enrich those veterans' lives and give them something that they can do to get through their injuries or get through their personal struggles, meet some other veterans that have similar stories to them, and just get them through life a little bit better. So it started back in 2014, and that's what it basically was, to enrich the lives of veterans through the great game of golf that we love to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I've witnessed that firsthand. It's not just about golf. We have great competition, and it does get heated sometimes when you're right in the battle. Right. In a tournament, but it's more about a community. You know,
Yes.
when we get out of the military, some of us, it's hard to find jobs. For other people, it's hard to plug back into something that is different than what you've been through, right? Once you've gone through, you know, something like military service and you get out, sometimes you feel a bit like an outsider. Right. You know, so finding something like the VGA and that community to plug yourself into is absolutely great. I know I mentioned earlier how small it was back in 2017. How many members does Tennessee have now?
Gosh, we started out with about 7 members, and just over the years, with a lot of word of mouth and getting the word out about the VGA and going around and just promoting it, we're probably over, I'm not sure what the accurate numbers are right now, but I'm pretty sure we're over about 125 to 150 active members in the Tennessee chapter, which is really, really good. So
I mean, that's just insane. I remember when it was just the core group of us, you would have to send emails out like a couple days before the tournament and be like, we're still going to play, but we need a couple more members for it to be a sanctioned VGA tournament.
Right.
And now it's I think we have like 30 something tournaments scheduled for this year alone.
Shoot,
maybe more than that.
We got over 55 events scheduled for this year. So our assistants, Tony Miller and Brent Dexter and Tommy Brearden and Mike Hickernell, they're all doing some great work and getting events from the East Coast, from the east side of Tennessee all the way to the west side. So what we're doing right now is we're really trying to build the West up. So if anybody's out there on the net that knows folks out in West Tennessee, Tommy Brearden is the one that you need to get a hold of, and let's build that west side of Tennessee up.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just incredible. And it's not just the state of Tennessee either. So this is,
right.
We're talking the state of Tennessee because that's where we're at, but this is the VGA as a whole. I mean, the growth that it's had is just absolutely incredible.
Absolutely.
Well, you want to tell everybody a little bit about how the tournaments work?
Sure. Tournaments, you know, you can play anywhere you want to. There's a membership fee for the year, and once you pay that membership, you can play anywhere in the world. I mean, we got chapters in Germany, we got chapters in Puerto Rico, we got chapters everywhere. So no matter where you go, you're able to play. So that's kind of how it happened for me, is when I played my very first, I got involved in the VGA, and I was going on a family vacation to Florida, and there happened to be a VGA tournament in Disney. So it's like, hey babe, I want to go play in this, and she's like, yeah, I'll go shopping, you go play golf, and I was like, hey, win-win, you know. So
that's right.
Played in that. So, but basically, you can play anywhere. You just get online, find out where there's a tournament around close to you, register for that tournament, and then the state director will send you an email when your tee time is, and you go and play. And you know, some of the best things about the VGA is traveling around to the different chapters and playing in different states and meeting different people. So, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's kind of how it works. And then we got different divisions for different people. So you're competing against people in your own division. So there's an A flight all the way to a D flight. There's family members that play. There's wounded veterans that play. And every division has their own handicap level. So you're playing against people that are within your own skill level. So
that's awesome, and that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's important for the competition aspect for sure. So who all can join the VGA?
So the VGA is open to all active members, all retired members, all people that have had members of their family in the military, all the way back to their grandparents on both sides of both on their married side and on their side. So if your grandfather was in the military and you didn't have anybody in the military, you're eligible to join the family division, and you're able to do that. So it's very great. It's a great thing to where we can have family members involved too, because we can bring our husbands and wives out to play in the VGA. We also have people who bring their sons out. You know, just today we had an 80-year-old veteran from Vietnam, Bob Davis, that plays, and he plays with his son Mark all the time, and it's just awesome to see the family members get together and get to meet everybody that way too. So
absolutely,
it's pretty cool.
So we talked, that's local tournaments.
Yes.
But once you become a member of the VGA and you play in some local tournaments, there's some other perks in tournaments, right?
Yeah, play in any 3 VGA events around the country, and you're eligible to play in a state championship. So the state championships happen in late June, early July, and you can play in those state championships. You can play in any state championship you want to. So depending on what region you're in, you know, if you're in the South region like us, we're able to play in all the South region state tournaments if we want. And then if the North Division state tournament opens up at a certain time, if they have openings, you can go play there too. So then once you qualify in the state championship, they'll take, depending on how many people are in each flight, you can qualify for what we do for a regional tournament. Then you go to a regional tournament, and all those state qualifiers that qualified in their state tournaments go play in a regional tournament. And then we're trying our very best to make it to nationals and go to that national tournament, which is very, very competitive and very prestigious for us veterans to go to, because that's pretty much the prize that we're looking for.
Been there?
To get. Yep, been there. Got to play several years ago out in California and San Francisco, so that was a tremendous experience, and got to play in some other specialty events as well. The Armed Forces Cup, got to play in that, and then here in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to have a very distinct privilege to represent my state and my service and play in the first ever Liberty Cup at Liberty National in New Jersey. So
awesome.
Looking forward to that. So.
Yeah, very cool. And there's some other things that the VGA does as well that's not annual. Sometimes it's every other year, like the Clover Cup.
Right.
I think it's called the Oconus Cup.
Yes.
Which this year, is that in Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
lots of cool spots.
Yeah, great opportunity to go, travel and go on a trip with a lot of other players and go play some courses that you really wouldn't have an opportunity to play if you just tried to go do it on your own. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's another really good point. So a lot of the courses in just the regular state tournaments, some of them are your regular city courses, but there's also a lot of really good ones, like here in Tennessee. We play several private clubs.
And we played like 2 or 3 years ago. We got to play Holston Hills. Yep. We had a VGA member that was a member of Holston Hills. He talked to their pro, and what they did was like, yeah, we'd love to have you. We're gonna pair a member up with 3 veterans, and that's how we're going to get you on the course. And we went out and played Holston Hills, and it was pretty cool. So
it was a great spot. I think the Corn Ferry Tour does a stop
Yep,
there, don't
yep,
they?
They sure do.
What do you think keeps people coming back? Like, we've talked about the golf and the community and the competition, but what would you say that you think keeps bringing people back to the VGA and bringing people with them when they come back every year?
For me personally, and I know that I've talked with a lot of people that feel the same way I do, but it's a lot about the camaraderie. It's a lot about the building friendships and relationships, and it's just so important that we build those relationships, because we're not, I tell this to my students. I teach school junior ROTC here in the city. And I tell my students this all the time: we're not walking on this earth for ourselves. We're walking here to support others and to do things for other people and to serve other people. And just going out and me being a leader in Tennessee and all of my assistants putting together all of these events that we can, so people can come together and have that great camaraderie. That's what makes me coming back. The competition is secondary for me. I'd rather come out and give Jonathan a hug and a fist bump every time we see him, and that happens every tournament you go to. You come by and you see guys you hadn't seen in a long time, and it's just the camaraderie for me that makes it very, very special.
Yeah, I would second that. And sometimes you never know the person you're playing with, and sometimes you do know the person you're playing with. I've had been fortunate to make a couple of great friendships through the VGA over the years. And sometimes just playing with a buddy that you know of, they may be going through something personal that you have no idea about.
Yeah.
But just being able to be on the golf course and crack jokes and laugh and have fun, that's healing in itself to a lot of folks.
Absolutely.
So camaraderie is massive.
Absolutely.
For sure. Having the luxury of being able to see everybody at just about every tournament that you come out, because you have to work them. What is there anything specific you could look at for what type of impact the VGA has had on some folks?
Well, I know for me, and we've had a member that was going through some personal struggles. He went through a divorce after got out of the military, and had some personal struggles, and he tried the VGA out, and he just had a hard time with it, and he quit. Took a little break from golf, called me up a couple years later and said, "Hey, I'm going to try it again." And I went out and seen him. I was like, "Okay, I'll get paired up with you, and you and I will ride together, and we'll go around the course." And just talking with him and seeing that he was back out, and him saying how much he missed this and this game of golf and getting back into it, that really hit me personal, and it really made me think that I'm doing the right thing and that I'm doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. And that was a really special time for me. And then to get my wife involved, too, to play and us to be able to spend some more time together and do something that we enjoy doing, that's really was special to me too. So.
Yeah, I think that's probably more common than we think.
Yes.
I know I have my personal story with relation to the VGA is fairly similar to that. When I got out, it was tough for me to find a job for the first few years after I was out. I got out in 2012. Went down, a couple paths that they're a little bumpy, we'll say, right? Ended up finding my way back to Tennessee, which is where I got out of the military. I was stationed at Fort Campbell. Found my way back to Tennessee, and a few months after that, I found the VGA. And so that was 2017, and that was my first tournament. I met Tori.
Right.
On that very first tournament. Hopefully you'll be able to meet Tori at some point. You'll never forget him once you meet him. But we became really good friends, and that was a real pick-me-up for me. Before that, I really didn't have a community. I didn't really have anything that I was tied to. So the VGA for me was big in that aspect as well. If you could pinpoint one moment that really shows what the VGA means to people out of all the years that you've been the state director, what would you say that moment would be?
Gosh, there's been so many. I mentioned one earlier. I mentioned one earlier when we talked about the gentleman that gave up golf and then came back. But a couple really special people that I love to see and play with really makes it special to me. Ben Matthews. Many of you probably out there know Ben Matthews, wounded warrior, loves the game of golf, and he's just a great big giant teddy bear, and love that guy to death. Bob Davis that I mentioned earlier. It's not very often the community of Vietnam veterans is getting smaller and smaller, and just to be out to be able to play with Vietnam veterans like Bob Davis and Philip Inman, our Player of the Year last year. Is really, really special. And I would think that, again, back to the camaraderie, getting to play with those type of people, is very important. Sam Maxwell is another guy. Love playing with Sam, love seeing him. Me and my wife give him a great big hug every time we see him. So it's just awesome to see all those people come together, especially when you get to one of the bigger events like the regional tournament or the state tournaments or something like that. Those people are all over the place.
Yeah.
And you want to get ready for the state tournament, and you want to get to the driving range and practice. You want to get to the putting green and practice, but I spend more time going around talking to people than I do getting ready for the tournament. Maybe that's why I don't do so well sometimes. But that's the thing for me, is just the camaraderie and just being around the special. I couldn't pinpoint one specific moment. There's just, gosh, so many of them, and that just it wraps everything up into one moment for me. So
it's a tough question for sure. Well, Doug, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and go over the VGA with me. VGA has been a big part of my life since I joined in 2017. Everything we talked about, the VGA, all of the links will be down in the description. The sign up link, the main website, so you can go and check it out. Outside of that, I mean, if you like these type of interviews, just drop a comment, let me know. We can keep them going. Tennessee is certainly not the only stop that we could do. We could talk to some other directors along the way, but yeah, Doug, I appreciate it, brother.
Jonathan,
Thank you so
thanks,
much.
brother.
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
It. Thanks, everybody,
See
for
you
giving
guys.
me the opportunity. So it's awesome.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining.
Peace out.
This is how legends are made.